Hi, welcome to this edition of On Tap, presented by FCSI the Americas. I'm Wade Kaler, Executive Director. On Tap this week, I get to talk with a longtime FCSI member who's been involved with quite a few committees and always such a great addition to everything she's been involved with. She's a 2019 Top Achiever consultant with multiple certification initials after her name that we're going to touch on a little bit later. Please welcome the president of Foodservice Consultants Studio, Miss Amy Hegarty. Hey, Amy, welcome to the show.
Hey Wade, how's it going?
Very good. Very good. How about you?
Doing great. Doing great.
Yeah. Business is
Yeah.
good. Things are busy.
Business is good. We're very blessed to be busy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Lots going on.
Love to hear. Well, as you know, we start off every episode with a little bit of a background about you. So tell us a little bit about how you got your start in the food service industry and then how you've that transitioned into being a food service consultant.
The closest I've ever gotten to working in a restaurant was making fudge and candy apples at King's Dominion. So that was when I was in college. And if you listen to Doug Huber's interview from a couple years ago, he also worked at King's Dominion. So it must be a
Yes, he did.
prerequisite to work at this company. I did not dance, however, like he did. Um,
uh,
so lots of fudge and candy apples for a couple years at King's Dominion. I have an interior design degree,
yep.
and so I learned design that way. My first job out of school, I did lots of retail and food service design at that company. It just happened
Okay.
that way. Lots of
Okay.
concession stands in stadiums and airports. That was our specialty. I worked for
Okay.
them for quite a long time. And I met Larry Huber back then. He was a sales rep, so I knew him pretty well and kept in touch with him over the years as he started this firm, Foodservice Consultants Studio. I
Yeah.
took a little break from food service, went and worked at a typical interior design firm where I wasn't doing food service, so that was kind of scary after doing it for 12 years.
Yeah.
But a former client Googled my name, found me on the Interior Design Professional Organization's website, and said, "Hey, would you like to do food service design again?" I said, "Yes, please. Um, I'd love to." And so I started doing a little bit by myself at the interior design firm. 2007 rolls around, and I convinced my boss at the time to let me go to the NAFM show that was in Atlanta that year. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, Atlanta's easy
Yep.
to get to. I can go. I can, I'll learn a lot of good things. And I let Larry know that I was going. He said, "Oh, we'll catch up there. We'll find each other." Like, we won't find each other at NAFM. Are you silly? And I'd never been. That was my first time going. But he said, next day he called back and said, "Let's make sure we have lunch. We'll catch up then." We come back, and 2 weeks later, I started working for him at this company.
Nice.
So,
Great.
um,
And,
and I've
and the
been
rest is
here
history, as they say.
ever since. Absolutely.
Yeah. So with Food Service Consultant Studio, is there a certain segments or certain parts of the industry that you focus in on more, or is it really your hands are a little bit involved with all the different projects?
Uh, well, we do a lot of K through 12 projects. We do a little bit of everything else, a lot of different venues, lots of K through 12. It used to be that we would structure our projects so that each project manager would run their own project. So Doug would run his, Larry would run his, I would run mine. But in the very recent past, we have decided to divide projects by skill instead of
Okay.
project manager. So I will use my strengths, Doug will use his, and we'll work on each
Nice.
project together. So I have the design background, and I love to do that part. So I take care of that
Nice.
a lot of the times. A lot of the initial programming and communication with the client, initial kickoff meetings, specifications, cut sheets, that type of thing. When it becomes the technical data, the MEP knowledge, I let Doug handle that now because he's so much better at that than I am. I can handle it. I can hold my own, but he's
Yeah.
it comes more naturally to him. So we're collaborating more on each and every one of our projects, and
Yeah. I
that's
like
been a
that.
good decision for us.
Yeah, I agree. I like that workflow. I think you're playing everybody's strengths. That's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Um, so you've been doing this a long time, obviously. When you were starting out, um, how long do you think it took, or how long did it feel before you felt you were proficient at doing this job?
Oh
You know, you
dear.
you felt confident enough to walk in to be the project manager.
um, Since my first job was a little differently, we were Class A general contractors too, so we approached
Right.
things a little bit differently. We didn't, we weren't consultants in the true sense of the word. Um,
Sure.
so I did certain things, and I was good at those certain things. And I would manage smaller projects and such, but it was more of a collaborative effort among the
Okay.
team members there. It was certainly, and I worked as a project manager at the interior design job, but that was different too. It wasn't
Right.
until I joined this group and realized how much more knowledge I needed to learn, because this group, you know, everyone who's listening already knows Larry Huber and Doug Huber and how knowledgeable they are and how they are at what they do. So yeah, there's so much to learn. And while I had I thought great project management skills that I brought to the table, the
Yeah.
food service knowledge that I still needed to learn and understand was immense. It was huge. So
Right.
it takes a long time in this industry where you're so
Yeah.
specialized, and since there's not just one direct path of how we all get to
Yeah.
call ourselves consultants, there's always something that something everyone has to learn along the way.
Yeah. I agree. Is there any part of the consulting, or what? Or I shouldn't say any. What part of the consulting do you find to be the most rewarding for you?
I love to do the design and figure out the solutions of the layout of the equipment for the client, and then seeing that all come together and actually built is
Yeah.
always really really cool. I remember early on in my career seeing the drawings for months and months and months, and then finally seeing a job site and seeing how things look differently in person than it did on paper. I'm really good at reading plans, but seeing it all um, in reality was a completely different experience, and that was really cool for when I was 24 years old and right out of school. It was
Absolutely. So, with your degree in interior design, which is not common for kitchen designers,
right.
um, and you're still active or have been active in
Hmm.
ASID,
Yep.
how does that influence your kitchen design still to this day? Because obviously, again, there's a lot of kitchen designers out there, but not a lot
Hmm.
of them have interior
Right.
design degrees. So,
Right.
how does that influence yours?
Right. There's a few of us in our
Yeah.
organization that do, but yeah, not
Yep.
not many, not many of us. I think I have a very strong design knowledge base, flow and function and balance and things like that help me, um, just understanding spatial relations and being able to read the plans easily and understand how things might interact in the field in reality,
Mhm.
and it's not just lines on paper. And while we don't do a lot of the color selections or the finishes or the decor design of the space, I always make sure that I talk to the architects and interior designers that are working on that part of the project about how adding color to the kitchen is a good thing, or the serving area.
Yeah.
If we're doing a school, kitchens don't have to be white and gray, because guess what? We've just provided you with a whole kitchen full of gray stainless steel appliances. So can we have a little bit of color? Because red paint doesn't cost any more than white paint does.
Yeah. Exactly.
So let's add some color and interest, and make it a nice environment for the students or for whoever the client is. It's not just
Yeah.
a back of house area that nobody's going to see. There's employees that work there, there's students or residents or guests or somebody who's going to use that space. So let's make it fun and give it some character.
I like that. Absolutely. In your intro, I jokingly referred to your initials for your certifications. But listen, in all honesty, it's quite impressive and it's extensive. I'm gonna read through them. You can tell me if I've got all of them.
Okay,
CID, ASID, CFSP, Lead Green Associate, and FCSI.
I
Did I
think
miss
that's
any
it.
of them?
No, that's
Okay.
enough.
So, well, it's a lot, absolutely, but it also says it says a couple things to me: dedication to your path of career, because you don't do that unless you're serious about wanting to be a lifelong learner,
Right.
and that takes dedication. That's number one. Um, Two, it again, it goes back to lifelong learner. It means you want to continue to get better as you go. You want to better
Right.
yourself. That says a lot about a consultant as well. I have to ask you though, which one was the most complicated to get?
Oh dear. Yeah. Lead. Definitely lead.
Yeah,
Yeah. That one was hardest. Yeah. And there's so many points you have to get to maintain it.
yeah,
Um, And there's so much of it that, at least in the availability of CEU opportunities and things that I
Yeah.
can watch and go to and learn to get the points that I have to do to maintain that credential, none of them are about kitchens. So I'm learning about roof
Exactly.
gardens and storm drains and parking lot lighting and restrooms. And okay, some of that's okay and interesting, but didn't I say I was already busy and I'd
Yeah.
rather spend my energies learning more about what I actually do every day.
Right.
So yeah, lead is was the most complex and the least applicable directly to laying out
Correct.
kitchens, which is what I do every day.
Yeah.
Of course, there's huge
Yeah.
sustainability and energy savings and things we can do in kitchens,
Of
but that's
course.
this much of the whole broad lead and sustainability,
Yeah.
world that's out there.
Very
So,
good. Um, what's one thing about Amy that nobody would ever guess? A habit, a hobby. We learned about Doug's dancing, and we learned about him being a mascot
right,
dancing.
right.
So what is one thing about Amy that nobody would ever guess when they meet you?
Well, in high school, I played trumpet in the marching band in high school, and I was
Okay.
the only girl who did that at the time. Um,
Wow.
so that was a big part of my high school life was band. Then I didn't do anything with music after that at all, college or young adulthood or anything, no music. And then I did join the bell choir at my church about 10 years ago. So I had to remind
Okay.
myself how to read music again, but that came back pretty quickly. And playing bells was a fun experience and is.
Nice. I love it. Um, what's again? You've been doing this for a number of years now. Not too long.
You're
You're
trying
not
to make me
that
sound
old, but
old, Wade. You keep saying
no,
that.
that's why I had to say it's not too long. But you've been doing. You've got enough experience that I like asking this question, and that is, tell me about the biggest screw up you've done,
Oh.
and what you learned from that.
There is a project that I remember that um, it, somehow they used to design kitchens and build kitchens that were a step down from like a school kitchen, a step down from where the students stand. So the students stand 6 or 8 inches above the rest of the kitchen. They thought that was the right thing to
Okay.
do. Some clients still like to do that so that the students are more of an eye level to the staff people.
Yeah.
We were replacing the serving counters there. So I had gone and done the site visit and drawn the drawings, but I'd forgotten completely about the ramp and the step and the change in
Oh
elevation.
yeah.
And I'm standing there reviewing everything with the client, with the rep, with everybody, and realized that I had drawn it completely wrong. I'd completely forgotten about the step. It all worked out. It was fine, but it was one of those moments that you don't realize it till you're standing there in front of everybody, and that's
Yeah.
never a fun admittance. Luckily, it's a client we do a ton of work with and people who are nice and understanding, but
Yeah.
it wasn't a good feeling.
To the future Amy Hegarty's out there that are in interior design programs or hospitality
Yep.
programs, or maybe even the person that's thinking about doing some kind of transition out of restaurant management
Mhm.
or whatever, just a career change. What's one piece of advice you'd give them about food service consulting?
Well, it's a very unique field, and we come from it from all different types of places. If you were an interior design major and you wanted to come to this, um, your interior design background's a good starting point, but you're going to need to learn a lot about food service when you get here. I remember that when I was in school, I took a hospitality design class. That was part of the curriculum, and we designed the hotel lobby and the hotel bedroom, and it had a restaurant, so we designed the restaurant, the front of house. But then there was a box over here that they called the kitchen, and they said somebody else will do that. So there was no class to teach me how to do a kitchen layout
Yeah.
in my interior design curriculum. So I became that somebody else, just going through the ranks of working with people and learning as I went.
Yeah. Is there been have who's been your biggest influence in your career so far?
Well, if it's about design, that would be my father. He's an architect, so I grew up looking at floor plans and blueprints and going to his office and standing at the drafting board, and if I had a big project to do for school, we'd go there to use the T-square. And this is back in the day. We didn't have Revit and AutoCAD, of course. I am that old. Um, so I learned how to read floor plans and like designing those and drawing out those as a kid. So certainly that became a part of my life, and I became interested in design that way. As far as food service, I'd have to say that Larry Huber is a huge influence. His knowledge
Yeah.
about equipment, um, his work ethic, his just his personality and the way he works is just awesome. And I'm so glad I've had that experience to work with him. Of course, he's retired now.
Yeah.
We let him retire, and we drag him back in occasionally when we're really busy and we need some help. And he's always willing to do
Yeah.
that. But he loves this industry, and I'm happy to have that privilege to work with him.
Very good. What percentage of products are you guys doing now when it comes to Revit or a BIM or whatever you want to call it software wise? How much of that is being done now versus 3, 4 years ago?
What, in Revit?
Yeah.
Versus AutoCAD?
Yeah.
We thought all of our architects were in Revit, but there are still a couple that don't use Revit. They still use AutoCAD. But we're at the point where we will do Revit no matter what the architect is doing, because
Okay.
it takes too much effort to set up all the drawings and do everything in Revit. Now, granted, I am old enough that I only want to use AutoCAD still, and I will do my sketches and my initial test fits in AutoCAD and then hand it off to our great production team that will put it in Revit for us. And I know that's an extra step, and I know there's companies out there saying, why are you still doing it that way? Because it works for Doug and I to do it that way. And
Exactly.
we're doing what we call voice activated Revit sometimes. We'll sit shoulder to shoulder and guide the great team that we have. But no, I sketch in
love that
AutoCAD
voice activated Revit.
Yep. So I've been using AutoCAD since early 90s. So
see, I wasn't going to date you. I wasn't going to tell the ages and stuff like that. You just did it to yourself.
I know.
I was staying away from that, and you did it now. So
it's okay. That's okay.
Well, hey, that's all the formal questions I've got. But as you know, we're going to have a little bit of fun with you before you get going. So
I'm ready.
I'll just get right into the first question, and that is, would you rather buy 10 things that you don't need every time you go to the store, or forget the one item that you do need every time you go to the store?
Well, I already do that. I always forget the one thing that I really went to the store to buy. So that happens anyway.
Perfect. Would you rather have a personal housekeeper or a personal chef?
Ooh. Right now, housekeeper. Need that badly.
Would you rather be an extra in an Oscar-winning movie or be the lead actress in a box office bomb?
Extra, all the way.
Would you rather be stuck watching nothing but Hallmark Christmas movies or nothing but horror movies for the rest of your life?
Oh, Hallmark. I can't stand horror movies. But my husband would have to leave the house because he can't stand Hallmark movies. So have to do that on the second TV.
Would you rather have a pause or a rewind button for your life?
Pause. Things need to slow down.
Would you rather personally win $25,000 or have your best friend win $100,000?
Well, I think I'd have to have personally. Win it.
Perfect. Would you rather be in a zombie apocalypse or in a robot apocalypse?
Robots.
Okay.
Yes.
Would you rather give up your cell phone for a month or give up bathing for a month?
I would love to give off my cell phone for a month, so please take it.
All right. Exactly. It's amazing how many people have said that.
Yeah.
It's been overwhelmingly. Yeah.
I've too many emails.
It's so lopsided. It reminds me of the toilet paper roll because so many people said the same thing.
Right.
Would you rather be able to speak any language or be able to communicate with animals?
Animals. I don't need to communicate. I don't need another language.
Would you rather always have an annoying song stuck in your head or always have an itch that you can never reach?
Annoying song.
Okay. Would you rather read the book or watch the movie?
Read the book.
Okay. Would you rather own your own theme park or own your own zoo?
Theme park. I love theme parks. Back to the
Okay.
whole King's Dominion thing.
Exactly. Would you rather be compelled to high five everyone you meet or be compelled to give a wedgie to anyone in a green shirt you meet?
um, neither, but see, the green shirt wouldn't work because I'm part of an Irish group. So there'd be times that there'd be a lot of green shirts around me, and my husband's part Irish. So yeah, we can't do any the green. So
So high five it
I,
is for
I'd
you.
have to high five.
Yeah, I agree. Uh, would you rather have a completely automated home or a self-driving car?
Self-driving car. I can't. I hate to drive.
Okay. Would you rather be able to go to any theme park in the world for free for the rest of your life?
Mhm.
Or would you rather eat for free at every drive-in restaurant for the rest of your life?
Oh, theme parks. Maybe I would actually go.
Okay.
I don't need fast food.
There you go. If it's free, you get to go.
Right. I could go
Very
play.
good. Well, Amy, that's all the questions I've got for you today. But
Okay.
as you know, before we let you go, we want to let everybody know how they can get in touch with you and find out more about you. So, how
Okay.
can people find out more about Amy and your firm?
All right. Foodservice Consultant Studio. Google us. You'll find us. Foodservicestudio.com. We have a better presence on LinkedIn and Facebook now because we've got a great person that we've hired that actually will do that for us, and which is awesome. So we are out there,
Nice.
and we are. You can find us. So please do.
Perfect. Thank you. So that wraps up this edition of On Tap presented by FCSI the Americas. A huge thank you to Amy for joining us today. Please be sure to like and subscribe on whatever platform you use. And until then, cheers.